Good afternoon and welcome to the April 22nd, 2019 meeting of the Orlando City Council. Today it is my honor to have a good friend of mine offer the invocation, James Backus, who is the Distinguished University Professor of Global Affairs and Director of the Center of Global Economic and Environmental Opportunity for the University of Central Florida. I said that all with one breath. I wasn't sure I could do that. Many of you remember him as a great member of Congress representing Orange and Brevard counties. He did Citizen Saturdays, where he came home after working all week in D.C. and did community service projects with a lot of the people that supported him in the community. He has served on the high-level advisory panel to the Conference of Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Professor Backus is the author of several books, including Trade and Freedom and The Willing World, Shaping and Sharing a Sustainable Global Prosperity. He's engaged in numerous innovation and collaborative efforts worldwide to achieve all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals on the 2030 Agenda of the United Nations. The invocation will be followed today by the Pledge of Allegiance. We've changed it up so that we have one of our veterans lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Last meeting we had Commissioner Ortiz. In this meeting we're going to have Commissioner Gray. Commissioner Gray served 3.5 years in the U.S. Air Force as a telephone and radar communications specialist. I did not know that about you, Commissioner Gray. So I'll bring all our IT things to you from here on out. And also 3 years in the Texas Air National Guard. George W. was in that same service, right? Okay. We thank you for your service, and we'll have the invocation followed by the pledge. You may stand or remain seated.
Will you all please join me, each in your own way, in praying to our Maker. Almighty God, we thank you for the blessing of this glorious day. It is on such a day that we realize once again why Florida is called the Sunshine State and why it is named for the flowers that abound and abide. On a day such as this, we realize once more why ours is called the City Beautiful. On a day such as this, we remember your charge to be stewards of the earth. We remember also your charge to love one another. And so we strive in this City Beautiful, in this Sunshine State, amid all these flowers, to love one another, to work alongside one another, to build a community in which we all can truly share. Living amid such beauty and striving for such community, we are reminded on this day, on this Earth Day, that we are not at war with nature. We must not be at war with nature. For we, each and every one of us, are a part of nature. There is a reason why the founders of this country spoke of you as nature's God. It was one way of reminding us that as we are your people, so are we also people of nature. And therefore, we rededicate ourselves today to remembering that what we must do as a people is be the stewards we are supposed to be. We must reclaim our role as a part of nature. We must protect all that surrounds us. In all that we do to serve, we must understand that we will not succeed unless we serve also as stewards of nature. With this thought in our minds, we thank you once again for this glorious day, and we pledge anew our commitment, our lasting commitment to make every day Earth Day. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Here.
Commissioner Stewart.
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan. Here. Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Ings.
Here.
Mayor Dyer.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's take up for consideration the minutes from the workshop agenda review and city council meetings of April the 8th, 2019. Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right into awards and presentations. So April 22nd through the 26th is National Community Development Week. Warren Henry, our Director of Housing and Community Development, will give us an overview.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. It's my pleasure to be here during National Community Development Week. And as in the past, we've always honored one of our CDBG or home grant recipients. And this year we're recognizing Grace Medical Home. Currently, almost 1 in 4 Central Florida residents lack health insurance. The visionary leaders of Grace Medical Home sought to fill a void in our local healthcare system and developed a solution to remove the burden from the current healthcare community, including hospitals, ERs, and urgent clinics. Grace Medical has purchased a 19,000 square foot building that will enable them to expand medical services. The City of Orlando has provided Grace Medical Home with $300,000 in CDBG funds to rehabilitate that building, and for your consideration, an additional $100,000 today. They are rehabilitating the building to meet their growing needs. In their current facility, they serve 1,246 individuals on an annual basis. With the new and improved facility, in the first year alone, they'll be able to serve over 1,800 individuals. And with the projection that this number will increase annually. With the new facility, they will now be able to add dentistry, a food storage facility, and a teaching kitchen. They will also have the ability to expand their pediatric services. And the CEO, Stephanie Garris, and Director of Philanthropy, Lynn Ivanek, are here today to hear your reading of the proclamation.
Well, we will do just that. Proclamation, City of Orlando, Office of the Mayor. Whereas the week of April 22nd through the 26th, 2019 has been designated as National Community Development Week to celebrate the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, program and the Home Investment Partnerships HOME program. And whereas the CDBG and HOME programs have been administered by the City of Orlando and have positively impacted the city, its citizens through leveraging of federal dollars, thereby providing affordable housing, needed infrastructure, improvements to park and recreation facilities, and elimination of slum and blight. And whereas the CDBG and HOME programs seek solutions through private and public partnerships and address prioritized needs as identified through citizen input, and whereas the CDBG and HOME programs are valuable programs that have made tremendous contributions to the viability of our housing stock, infrastructure, public services, and economic vitality of our community. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim April 22nd through the 26th as National Community Development Week in the City of Orlando. Come down, Commissioner. I was teasing them because you may have noticed they were here at the workshop, so they learned all about permitting this morning. Okay, our second awards presentation is declaring May 5th through the 11th as Public Service Recognition Week, and I'm going to call on Julie Tyndall, our Community Outreach Manager, to introduce this one.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for recognizing Public Service Recognition Week. For the past 35 years, Public Service Recognition Week has been celebrated the first week of May to honor men and women who serve our nation at the federal, state, and local level. Public servants are doing important work that affect us all every day. Would all of our city public service staff and any county, state, or federal employees present please stand to be recognized? Majority of the room. Thank you. Today, we have representatives from the Board of Directors of the Central Florida ASPA, which is the American Society for Public Administration, and some members of our city staff who will join the mayor as he reads a proclamation for Public Service Recognition Week, and will take a photo with the mayor or members of the city council. Thank you.
Proclamation, City of Orlando. Whereas public service is among the most noble and demanding of professions, and whereas Americans are served every single day by public servants at the federal, state, county, and city levels, these unsung heroes do the work that keeps our nation moving. And whereas Public Service Recognition Week is observed annually to recognize the valuable contributions that millions of public servants, and whereas public servants include teachers, doctors, scientists, train conductors, astronauts, nurses, safety inspectors, laborers, computer technicians, social workers, and countless other occupations, day in and day out, they provide the diverse services demanded by the American people of their government with efficiency and integrity. And whereas the American Society for Public Administration Central Florida chapter embraces professional development and promotes ongoing research and learning to enhance public servant skills to better meet emerging needs in our society, now therefore, we, the entire Orlando City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through the 11th, 2019 as Public Service Recognition Week in the City of Orlando. Okay, Julie.
Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, look at that way. I like your shoes.
How's our shoe game? Gotta have shoe game.
Little shoe envy. Okay, now do a crazy picture. Now do a crazy picture. I'll get my shoe back. Oh, sorry. No, I'll get it. Don't worry about it.
You almost made it.
No, really.
Oh, that's shoe
I'm
game.
okay.
That's shoe game right there. That's cool.
Okay, let's move right into the mayor's update. What a great time to be a sports fan in Orlando. The Magic are in the playoffs, the Solar Bears are in the playoffs, and although we didn't get the result in games 3 and 4 that we would have liked to from the Magic, the atmosphere at the Amway Center has been fantastic, and it shows you that Orlando will show up to support its hometown team. Solar Bears did win their series 4-1 over South Carolina. They face either Florida or Jacksonville in the South Division Finals, and Orlando City beat Vancouver 1-0 on Saturday. So
Right.
Good time for sports. Okay, Dean, would you stand up? Where are you? Okay, you are standing up already. I want to take a moment to, and there'll be a lot more recognitions, but this is Dean's last official city council meeting. So Dean Grandin has been our city planning division manager for the last 20 years, a little bit more than that. And during his tenure, he has led the development of projects such as the Grand Bow, the mall at Millennia, Lake Nona, really transforming and leading us into the city that we are today. And Dean, you have truly left our city a better place. You've mentored the people behind you, which is important. We value the 2 decades of service that you've given to the city of Orlando, and we will be always grateful for your service. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm probably blushing. I didn't expect that.
You are blushing, actually.
I just want to say it's been an incredible opportunity to be the planning director for the city of Orlando for nearly 20 years. This is an incredible city. I really have come to believe that this is my city. I don't plan to leave. And the fact of the matter is there's no greater place in Orlando, and it's because of leadership like yourself and the council that allow us to do what we do in terms of creating a great planning environment for the city and its development community. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, just a couple other things. We are celebrating National Bike Month next month in Maine, and I encourage everyone to find out about and maybe participate in Bike Walk Central Florida's 3rd annual Bike 5 Cities Ride on Saturday, May the 4th. It's a 28-mile family-friendly bike ride that goes through Winter Park, Orlando, Castleberry, Maitland, and Eatonville, and the city of Orlando will be hosting a Orlando pit stop at Lake Druid Park. You can register at bikewalkcentralflorida.org. And then we will be launching our Rideshare Hub pilot program on Friday, May 3rd that we talked about at the last meeting. And then I just have a couple items of note from the agenda. Significance of Jim's invocation. We have on our agenda the approval for the Lead Cities and Communities Grant Agreement with the U.S. Green Building Council, and this grant will provide funding for the city to pursue LEED certification for the entire city. So not a building, not a neighborhood, but the entire city of Orlando, and advance our GreenWorks Community Action Plan as a LEED certified city will align our 2040 sustainability goals in a globally consistent way to help us advance a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable future for Orlando. And there are very few cities in the country that have achieved this status, and we will certainly be the first in Florida, if not the first in the Southeast. So that's all I have. We're going to move on to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our commissioners an opportunity to comment on items on the consent agenda and update you on important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order that we do that, and Commissioner Stewart is first up today.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me follow along with that same thought. The Audubon Park Garden District has been certified by the National Wildlife Federation as a community wildlife habitat. That's a big deal, and we're really proud of them. The community wildlife habitats consist of people transforming their yards, parks, church properties, schoolyards, and businesses and green space into wildlife-friendly habitats. The director of the Audubon Park Garden District is Jen Marble. I want to say special congratulations to her. But this is one of those few recognitions that we're really thrilled about. We want to thank Jennifer and, of course, Lou Gardens as part of this, East End, and all the great residents and community partners in the area. So thank you so much for that. I think it continues to see not only has the city caught the vision, but we've been able to transfer that vision to our own neighborhoods, and I appreciate that leadership, Mayor. Happy Easter and happy Passover. I want to share that with you. And then I move on to Dean Grandin. Where'd Dean go? Okay, Dean. Okay, so we have to say nice things about you sometime in the future, but I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you and what you've meant to me in the last 13 years I've been here. So thank you very much, Dean. So upcoming events to share briefly, the Metro Plan Green Drive Complete Street Study Phase 3 Community Meeting. Did that all in one breath, Mayor. Will take place on May 1st at 5:30 at the cafeteria at the Audubon Park K8. If you're interested in finding out what's going on, and we're now going to present their study to us, and that will begin the process to move down to through Metro Plan and funding and all that process. So this is that very first important stage that as we complete this stage, we'll continue to move down the stage to eventual changes. So please come and see the final completed draft. They'll begin at 6 o'clock and see their findings and ask any questions you may have. Baldwin Park First Friday will take place this Friday, May 3rd, and they'll have a Cinco de Mayo theme, so it's a free sidewalk festival, both family and it's also pet friendly. And then Edgewater Drive, Dancing on Drive has been changed now to Spring Fiesta in College Park. And that's going to take place on Edgewater Drive on May 11th from 5 to 11. Those are a few things. Congratulations to Orlando Magic. I wish they had played. Well, probably should have said, I wish Toronto had not played so well. That would have made our life a little easier. But I'm so proud of them. And it's the spirit in that room was really wonderful. My son went on Friday night. It went on Sunday. We want to win one more game and bring it back here one more time. It'd be a lot of fun to do that. So it was, appreciate that. Appreciate the leadership of them. And I don't have much on the agenda, Mayor, so I think I do want to mention one little small thing under the police side. We mentioned the College Park Spring Fest. I want to also mention the Eagle Flight 5K and say a special thanks to Dubstred. They had an opportunity. They wanted to do a fundraiser as a 5K, and we had worked out with Dubstred that they could do it actually on the golf course, do it before they play golf, and have limited impact on the golf course. And they were going to kind of rent the golf course out for an hour or so. So thank you very much. When the Magic go out of the playoffs, my wife has told me I have to shave. So
Might be pretty quick.
Yeah, could be Tuesday night. So thank you very much, Mayor. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheehan?
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd just like to say, that here at the city, we put a lot of emphasis on police and fire and public safety, and that's really, really important. But I think one of the most important functions that we do is planning, because that really talks about, what our city is going to be for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And I want to thank Dean for all that, because I remember when he came in, when our former planning director left, and I'm like, gosh, I feel like my right arm's been cut off. And I told Dean, I said, I hope you can, rise to that occasion, and he did. And he's been amazing to work with. And Dean, I've gotten to serve with you the longest, and it's been a pleasure and a privilege. And one of these days I'm going to get off the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council, because I've been doing that for about 20 years. But maybe somebody else will take a crack at that. But planning really is very, very important for our region, for our city, and I want to thank you for everything that you've done, because I know I'm always crabbing and saying, hey, I want this, I want that, and I want this city to be beautiful, and you've really brought us there. So thank you for all your hard work over all these years. It's been a pleasure. And it will not be as much fun having planning meetings without you anymore. Just saying, we have a good time together. So, on the agenda today on the Municipal Planning Board, SOTO development standards. I'm delighted to see a lot of the redevelopment that's happening in the SOTO area. It's because, again, of good planning, and also for some new standards for tree preservation and for sidewalks, which I fervently support. We cannot get off the #1 pedestrian fatality list in America unless we are willing to put sidewalks on every side of the street all across our city. So I'm delighted to see this policy moving forward. Item C13, I love the idea of food trucks at the rideshare hubs. I love the idea of the rideshare hubs. I think that's really going to help with our nightlife in downtown. And also on item F1, I'm very glad to see the CDBG support for Grace Medical Home, which is now located in District 4. I think it's a wonderful location. It's close to the bus routes. It's really going to help serve the community that really needs it, and I'm delighted to see that they're getting support from CDBG. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheehan. We'll move to Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to thank Dean. Economic meetings are not going to be the same. I did not know how much you appreciate people until it's somewhat time to say goodbye. But I know it's not goodbye. Dean, I remember when I came here, it was almost like drinking out the proverbial fire hose, trying to learn so much in so short of a time span. What I remember most and will always appreciate is why I was gung-ho about certain initiatives and certain things I want to see in my district, you never found a reason to tell me no. You always found a reason how to get it done and articulate. Even when I couldn't articulate it, you articulated it for me. I said, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. So I really thank you for all the years of service, but most definitely the 5 years that I've been here. You have been a friend and have always found a way to make me laugh, even in the darkest times here. So thank you so much, Dean. With that being said, on 4/13, I'd like to thank Lisa Early, the After School All-Stars, our Recreation Department, Brenda March, Orlando Police Department, and Officer Malone and his officers. We had the 3rd annual Lieutenant Deborah Clayton Youth Crime Prevention Job Fair. We were able to employ about 160 students thus far. And thank you, Mayor, for your leadership. You have expanded that youth job program here in the city. Usually we employ about 400 kids, and this summer we'll be employing 1,000 kids here in the city of Orlando with the help of community partners. And those that could not attend the job fair that the city had there, you can go to, I think it is, not that I think, it's orlando.gov/youthjobs. That's orlando.gov/youthjobs. And the city will be hiring, as I stated, 1,000 kids from the ages of 15 to 24. And that's huge. We know there's an uptick in idle time for kids during the summer, and we want to make sure that they are throughout the city creating some leadership skills, some job skills, and also I've asked the kids to save at least $500 during the summer, and we've partnered. My office have partnered with some of the local banks of their choice to create a savings funds for them, and hopefully we can find an opportunity to match those funds, Mayor, if it's going towards scholarships. I'd like to thank the city staff who went over to speak with our downtown residents. A downtown meeting was held at the Solar here on 4/15, where they addressed some of the downtown living concerns when it comes to traffic, noise levels in some of the clubs. And so we had every department head. Thank you, Thomas Chapman, for your leadership and helping organize that meeting. I wasn't able to attend because I was at another community meeting, but I heard it was well attended, and the residents had everyone in the room where they had questions, whether it was from permitting, whether it was from code enforcement, our public safety, fire, and OPD departments, and of course permitting and the CRA director. And I think everyone got their answers. Question I heard that all the residents was quite satisfied with us just showing up and hearing their concerns. Sometimes we can't solve everything overnight, but just having a listening ear for our residents is half the battle. So thank you, all of the departments that came out to assist with that. We also had our Paramore Oaks community meeting where Invictus led that, and we had Walter Hawkins, which is our urban developer director, and again, Thomas Chapman out there. We had about 60 residents that came out to find out about some of the leasing opportunities. I think they will be opening that complex, which is mixed income there in the Paramore area. And thank you, council, for all that you've done with that by creating some of the funds to close that gap, to make a few of those affordable. But we are creating mixed income communities in the Paramore area. And also there has been 5% set aside for some of our most vulnerable residents here in the city of Orlando, and that is our homeless. And they were speaking about how you can get the leasing, also how to be employed there at Paramore Oaks, and how to be a community ambassador. So I'd like to thank the community for coming out to find out how they can be more proactive in a greater Paramore and how to become apartment dwellers there. I also went on for 18 to R.L. Burns' 25th anniversary, which is a contractor there in the Paramore community, but it's doing work and employing many from out the city and county of Orlando. So congratulations again, R.L. Burns, on your 25th anniversary. On 4/23, there will be at 6 p.m. at the Varsity Club, there will be a contractors outreach event with Lift Orlando. They are building a Boys and Girls Club in the West Lakes area, and there will be some contracting opportunities. That is on 4/23 at 6 p.m. at the Varsity Club. On 4/24, at our downtown recreation center, our recreation department, and through the leadership of Mr. Reginald Burrows, which is part of our youth employment program, and also my brother's keeper and works for the youth recreation department under the supervision of Lisa Early. He has created an opportunity for kids that might have a 2.0 grade point average and have not scored exactly well on their SAT or ACT to get a scholarship opportunity to Bennett College. It is a HBCU, and HBCU does not discriminate. So that's for any child that might need a college education or young adult. They have partnered with the City of Orlando to give these opportunities to those that might not have it at some of the traditional colleges. So please come out, and that goes for anyone in any district. That is 4/24 at our downtown recreation center, and that is, I believe, at 2 p.m. Another affordable housing project through the leadership of Mayor Dyer and the support of this council in District 5 Mercy Drive, we will be having on Wednesday the 24th at 6:30 p.m. A community meeting on how to lease all affordable, I think this is all affordable apartments. That is Mercy, Village on the Mercy, and that will be April 24th at 6:30 p.m. at the Northwest Community Center. Again, that's 5% that's set aside for our most vulnerable citizens, which are homeless, and the other 120 plus, I believe. Mayor? Is that 128 plus, I believe? That will be all affordable, and that is at a partnership with Ability Housing, and that will be April 24th at 6:30. As we know, Valencia Community College and UCF is coming to downtown Paramore Creative Village. August 26th is the day of opening at 9 a.m., but they have partnered with my office in the city on April the 27th, that is this upcoming Saturday at 9 a.m. For a job fair here in the Paramore Callahan Community Center. This job fair is a citywide job fair for all. You can bring out your resume, and if you do not have one, we will have people on site there at Callahan Community Center assisting, and that is a hiring event to work at Valencia Community College and UCF. So that is, again, very important, April the 27th at 9 a.m. Speaking of opportunities, we have partnered with the National Entrepreneur Center and the African American Chambers and Black Business Investment Fund to host a 3-series entrepreneurship class beginning on Saturday, April the 27th, Saturday, May the 4th, and Saturday, May the 11th at 9:30 at the Jackson Center. As you know, the city give these local, I would say, business development companies, organizations, funding. I think we give them almost $150,000 per year. So they are now bringing these mobile programs to the west side of I-4. They're located in the east side of Orlando. And there has been a challenge with transportation in some of our west side small business entities to get to the east side or find time. So we are now bringing it to the west side. I'd like to thank all three of those organizations and Chase P. Bank for putting funding together so that we can facilitate these 3 seminars. And on 429, the partnership between Southern Technical Institution, I believe we remember here a while back, we had a community outreach, and we have 60 applicants that was approved, and all 60 will start on May the 2nd there at the Callahan Community Center. Thank you, Lisa Early and your staff for making that space available for the 8 weeks training where everyone will come out with a certification. We have some community partners where they will be doing their apprenticeship training, and a big thank you to Career Source for helping to offset some of the costs and our Blueprint program for these 60 city residents and 30 from the Paramore area that will be taking advantage of this course. You know, I believe there is some oftentimes where we might have to give handouts, but I truly believe in hand-ups, and I believe the jobs and training is the best social program that the city can undertake. So I'm really excited to see these 60 graduates go off and enter into the medical field at an entry level, but I do know that the sky is the limit, but access is so very important. So thank you all who has been involved with giving this opportunity to some of our citizens here in the city of Orlando. Thank you. With that, that's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. We'll move to Commissioner Ings.
Thank you, Mayor. Today is Earth Day, and we are the stewards and keepers of the planet. So let's do our part every day to keep our Earth healthy. Mr. Dean Grandin, thank you so very much for all of the help and assistance that you have given me throughout my 13 years here on the council. Many a times I had to hold your hands because you didn't know what to do. Okay, it's a joke. But many times you had to hold my hands because I didn't know what to do. And I thank you so very much for your caring and for your patience and tenacity and for the great things that you did for the planning department. You were our chief planner, and you were a mentor too of many of the others that come along beside you. So thank you so very much for your service. On Thursday the 18th, I attended the Tri-County League of Cities Luncheon in Longwood. Mayor Leo Longworth of Bartow, Florida, and the Florida League of Cities president was present and was the guest speaker at the event. His wife, Pat, was also there with him. And also on Thursday, I attended the 25th anniversary of R.L. Burns Construction at his office there at 1203 West Gore Street. So congratulations to Bob Burns for your efforts in being a business and entrepreneur, business person and entrepreneur here in the city of Orlando. Bob also brought down his mother from Philadelphia. His son and daughter were there too, and brother there to celebrate with him. And then on Friday, April 19th, I was at the Head Start program at Dover Shores Elementary there at 1200 Gaston Foster Road. At this Head Start program, there were 2 classes, and I was a guest reader for both of those classes. The center manager, Cynthia James Reese, greeted me and guided me to the classrooms. The students, teachers were great. The students were very focused. Sandra Moore coordinated this reading event for me. A celebration of life for Mayor Ray Bagshaw of Edgewood was canceled. It was scheduled for Friday, April 19th, but it was canceled and rescheduled for May 17th, 2019. and it will be at the Bagshaw Park at Edgewood City Hall from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Special presentations and recognitions honoring Mayor Ray Bagshaw service to the community will be held at that time. So I encourage many of you to come out and participate and share in the celebration of life for Mayor Ray Bagshaw. And then on Saturday, April 20th, Standing Ovation had its Easter production at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. Ms. Terry Burns, who is the producer, director, and dancer, said the program was great. So this was a great Easter program that they had done. I was one of their co-sponsors to help them along with this particular program. And then on the same night, Saturday night, I attended the second annual Rufus C. Brooks Civil Rights Freedom Fund Awards Dinner and Banquet, which was held at the Rosen Center. I supported and sponsored one chaperone and 6 students from the Dr. James R. Smith Center as my guest at this event. The Brooks family was the honorary co-chairs, Miss Edith Brooks, Mr. Byron Brooks, and Dr. Bridget Williams. And they presented the Rufus C. Brooks Civil Rights Award to a former Apopka City Commissioner, Billy Dean, and the William and Kitty Ellison Service Award, Community Award, to evangelist Charlie Mae Wilder. So this was a great event, and thank you, Orange County Chapter President Beverly Neal, and the National Chairman of the Board of Directors for NAACP, Leon Russell, was the guest speaker. And I just want everybody to know that I am a subscribing life member of the NAACP, and I encourage all of you to join as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Move to Commissioner Gray, District 1.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. I think I wore out my welcome this morning, but far be it from me to interrupt the Dean Grandin Love Fest. So, I will keep it going, but in my 7 years here, I probably have spent the most time with Dean and his team, and just want to say, Dean, thank you for not only your expertise, but leadership of that entire group. It's a bigger job than one man, as we all know, but you've got a great team in place, and I'm thrilled that Elizabeth is going to take over because she will do a great job. So you will be missed, Dean, but not that much. We'll move right into Elizabeth. On the agenda, one item, I've got to say a thank you, and that's item C3 in the design review. A lot of things we have in the southeast part of town are already approved, but as we know, things are changing rapidly in the southeast part of town, and we need to make adjustments. The applicant in this case sat down with us and understood our concerns and worked with us to come up with a good solution. So I want to say thank you to the applicant of the East Park Village. It was great, a good cooperation. So with that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. And finally, District 2, Commissioner Ortiz.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, and I will note that item A1 was removed between the agenda review meeting and this meeting. It's the contract that'll be with the supervisor of elections. Apparently our attorneys and their attorneys still have a couple legalese things to work out on that agreement, so we'll probably bring it back next meeting. Okay, with that, motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Gray. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And so the motion carries and the consent agenda passes. Do we have any Valencia students here today?
You have a Boy Scout back there.
Yeah, I see the Boy Scout. We have a Boy Scout here that is watching his government in action for some type of badge, or we do. Could you please stand and we'll recognize you? Thank you for being here. Okay, with that, if there's no objection, we will recess the City Council meeting. We'll convene the CRA meeting. We have one item, which is a facade grant. Thomas?
Thank you and good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. As the Mayor says, the sole item of new business before the CRA today is approving a downtown facade and building stabilization program funding agreement between the CRA and Dovecote LLC. Dovecote of course, a very prominent downtown restaurant, has applied for assistance under this program for improvements at the building located at 390 North Orange Avenue in our Central Business District. As you know, the program and the funds will be used for the installation of exterior signage at that location at the corner of Livingston and Orange. As you may recall, the program provides an opportunity for the CRA to reimburse up to 50%, not to exceed $20,000 per project. The Downtown Facade Grant Review Committee has convened on April 4th and recommended approval for funding assistance of up to $9,950 toward the proposed signage. If there are no questions, Mayor and Commissioners, staff is requesting approval of the Downtown Facade Building Stabilization Program funding agreement between the Community Redevelopment Agency and Dovecote LLC for 390 North Orange Avenue, subject to review and approval of the City Attorney's Office, and authorizing the Chair of the CRA and Executive Director to execute such funding agreement.
Move approved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Further business, Thomas?
There is none, Mayor. Thank you.
Then we'll stand adjourned in the CRA, and we will reconvene the City Council meeting. All right, Madam Clerk, you're up for hearings, ordinances, first reading.
Ordinance 2019-28, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the city's growth management plan, creating future land use sub-area policy S.4.8 to address open space requirements for the Wekiva overlay, providing for amendment of the city's growth management plan, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to discuss this matter? Discussion among commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, hearings, ordinances, second reading, number one.
Ordinance 2019-21, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Shaw Plan Development Zoning District, providing for additional conditions, providing that ordinance documentary number 0605011002 is still in effect, providing for permit disclaimer, correction of scrivener's errors, severability, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that would like to discuss this matter? Discussion among commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number two, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 2019-25, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the North International Drive Special Plan, amending Chapter 62, Orlando City Code to update the regulations for the special plan area, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Hill. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify? Discussion among commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number three.
Ordinance 2019-26, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan to change the future land use map designation for certain land generally located at the northeast corner of South Kirkman Road and Raleigh Street, comprised of 1.1 acres of land more or less, from office low intensity to neighborhood activity center, changing the property zoning designation from low intensity office residential to neighborhood activity center, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, ordinances, first read.
Ordinance 2019-27, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to accessory dwelling units in the southeast sector, amending Chapter 68 Land Development Code to update guidelines and provide consistency for accessory dwelling units in the southeast Orlando sector plan, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Hold on. Commissioner Ings?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say, reference this particular sidewalk ordinance.
We're not on, we're on the first one.
This is the first one.
That's the second one.
We're on 2019-17, which is a matter in District 1, not the sidewalks yet.
I went too far. Okay. All right, thank you.
Further discussion on 2019-17? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. This is a sidewalk ordinance. Madam Clerk?
Ordinance 2019-30, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 54, Orlando City Code, construction and repair of sidewalks to clarify when sidewalks are required, the manner and location of sidewalk construction, notice to owners, sidewalk construction requirements, payment in lieu of construction and appeals, providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinances and actions, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Is there anyone from the public like to discuss this matter? All right, Commissioner Ings, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say, reference the appeal process where the citizen has to appeal to the Director of Public Works, and if he's not satisfied or she's not satisfied, they have to go to the Director of Transportation for an appeal, and then come to City Council if they're not happy there. And I just feel that the redress for the citizen needs to be smooth and quick, and that we don't need to take them through department to department to decide. And I know this is first reading, but I'm really kind of concerned about this, and hopefully we can have more discussion from others concerning this too. And that's all.
Commissioner Sheehan.
Yeah, Mayor, I think it's ridiculous that in a sidewalk in my district, I got outvoted by this council. I mean, everybody knows how passionate I am about sidewalks. I think they should be on every side of the road. I think we should be putting them in, especially when there's substantial improvement. That's a lot of times, that's the only opportunity we get to construct a sidewalk. And I feel very, very strongly that if we're going to do political games, that it needs to go to staff first and show why they're so important. I think it's ridiculous that I've been on this council 20 years, and we have never gotten off of the pedestrian fatality list in the nation. We're always in the top 10. I think it's outrageous. I think it's ridiculous that as a city commissioner who is passionate about this issue, I got outvoted by my colleagues. I thought it was disrespectful. I thought it was disrespectful of me as a public official and as someone whose district this particular last appeal was directed to. So I don't agree with it coming to council, because I think people can play petty political games as opposed to doing good public policy. And that's all I have to say, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, well, the way it's currently set out, the city engineer would make the determination with a subsequent appeal to Director of Public Works, and then a subsequent appeal to Transportation, which I think gives the constructability and then the public safety aspect in each of those appeals before it came to council. So I'm comfortable with that.
So council is eventual,
Council is eventual.
if they still want to do that.
Yes. Okay, let's see. We had a motion and a second. This was discussion, so all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. We'll see this on second reading. I'm sorry, did you vote no?
Yep.
Okay.
No, yes.
One no vote, Commissioner Ings. All right, that concludes the general calendar, general agenda for today.